Have this feeling, haven't felt for so long. Took a hold on me and won't let go. I've been sleeping, caught me off my guard. Cause you're in my space and now I'm so pull me towards you and I cannot fight it. My head's underwater, I try to disguise it. Want you to hold me, though we haven't spoken. I need that something to get me to open. You are only a shot away from me to be my everything. Cause you are only a shot away from me to be my everything. You are only a shot away from me to be my everything. Cause you are only a shot away from me to be my everything. Shot away. Shut up. Won't let you touch me, won't let you go to my head. Cause I know I'm dealing with the devil. But I'm standing with my heart in your hand, and I'm too deep into in this gamble. Pull me towards you and I cannot fight it. My head's underwater, I'm trying to disguise it. Want you to hold me, though we haven't spoken. I need that something to get me open. You are only a shot away from me to be my everything. Cause you are only a shot away from me to be my everything. Shut up.
So, hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you, as always, for tuning in to another live episode of The Advantage. I do appreciate it, as always. And those that have been here before know exactly what this segment is all about. This segment here is called it's what I call the Hangout. It's really just a time to kind of give everybody a little more time to kind of get situated and settled and just kind of figure out how this all works if you're new and all that. So, a couple little housekeeping items here. I love engagement. I like it when you guys engage with us. You leave questions and comments and all that. That's what makes live shows so much fun for myself and also the guest. So if you guys will please engage with us, answer questions and ask questions and all the above. I think that just makes it even more fun. Here's one that I do ask, though. If you are watching this and you want to put a question in there, please put question before your question so I know that's what it is and not just a comment. That does help. Also, if you're watching this not live and it's been now recorded and you're part of what we like to call team replay, put hashtag team replay in there. It lets us know that you came back and you watched it afterwards. And then we can give you a big shout out and say thank you. So as always, thank you. Hey guys, I'm excited about this show. We have Xio Sandoval with us. She is with Century 21 Realty Masters in South Los Angeles, California. And it's going to be a wonderful conversation with her. She has some pretty amazing accolades to her name already. And it's going to be really kind of cool to see how she got into real estate. So I do appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching this because I think you're going to get some value out of this. And but before we kind of get into everything else in the show and before I actually do the introduction, I always like to share a little bit about what I'm learning or what I'm going through. And today's really just no different because it's been a crazy busy week and I have been trying to read a lot more here lately to keep my head on straight. But before I get into that topic, hold on, I want to make some acknowledgments here. Look here, we got Emily. Emily, thank you. Good morning to you as well. Happy Friday. Thank you, Emily, as always. Let's see. Holly, good morning. Good to see you. Tina, hello again. Yes, she came in on the promo pre-show earlier. So, Tina, thank you for coming back. Really do appreciate that. So, guys, let us know you're here. Hey, I put a little comment up there at the very beginning when we were going to the countdown timer. Answer this, and maybe at the end of the show, we can kind of bring you guys up and talk about it. But right here's what I asked. Let us know you're here. Leave a comment and let us know your favorite travel destination. Let us know. Where do you guys like to go for vacation? I know a lot of people are going on fall break. So I thought it might be a relevant question to ask. We got Moorhead. Hello from Moorhead. Hey, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Missy. Hello, Missy. Thank you. Good to see you guys. Awesome. All right. Here's what I'm going to talk about today. I've been reading this book, and I mentioned it last week. That's fine. I know you guys might be getting tired of it, but that's okay. It's got some good stuff in it. The Champion's Mind, How Great Athletes Think, Train, and Thrive. Awesome book. Even though it says athlete, I think real estate agents can be considered athletes as well. I'm just going to say that because there's a lot of little disciplines and things like that that athletes go through that we can learn from. And I was reading the chapter about teamwork. So here's a question for you guys to answer before we even get into what I'm going to share with you. This is the question. What qualities do you think define a good team player? What qualities do you think define a good team player? Answer that in the comments. Love to hear what you have to say. All right. Here's what it said. Teamwork, a shared destiny. This is a shared destiny from the book, The Champion's Mind. Here's the quote, and it's actually a Japanese proverb, and it says, a single arrow is easily broken, but not 10 in a bundle, right? A single arrow is easily broken, but not 10 in a bundle. So we are better together and stronger together than we are standing alone. One of the things about real estate is it can be a very much an individual type business, but you're also part of a team. So the question is, do you guys operate as a team? Do you look out for each other, right? Do you support one another? Because you are stronger when you are bound together, working towards a common goal, even though you're independent. All right. The next quote was this. Everybody's heard this one. Rising tides lift all boats, right? In other words, the more you give, the more your team will gain. And the more the team gains, the more you will receive in return, because everyone benefits from being part of a winning team. Good teammates help us to become the player we are meant to be. So always look for ways to bring out the best in one another and use one another for support as needed. We are better when we are sharing our ideas, sharing our experiences, not trying to be secret about what we call trade secrets, right? Because chances are it's all been done before. So if we are constantly encouraging and working together as a team, we're all being elevated and working towards that common goal. So I encourage you guys, even though you are individual real estate agents, you are part of a team, and focus on working together. All right, here's another question for you. Do you fully appreciate the qualities that make up other people on your team? Now, this is interesting because there's a lot of times people just rub us the wrong way and we get really, really annoyed with them. And we just kind of discount them, or if we have one bad experience, we kind of tend to just write them off. And, to be honest, that's just not the way to be a team. We all do things. We're all not perfect, right? So we got to be able to realize that, yes, we're going to be getting upset with our own teammates. But in the end, what qualities do they actually have that can still benefit us as a whole? So don't get caught up in just one moment. Focus on the whole so we can work together. All right, here's another statement. Always look for a way to help your team's cause. A team has a shared destiny, and as such, all behaviors must be for the benefit of the team and the greater good. Here at Century 21 Advantage Realty, we have a statement. It's our value proposition, and it's called Leading by Serving. And that goes from everywhere throughout the entire company. It's all about who is it that we serve, and that's how we lead. We lead from the bottom up, and we serve everybody around us. So we encourage our agents to serve one another, serve their clients, and then by default, you become a leader and a true professional. All right, another question. How often do you take time out of your busy schedule to bond with other members on your team? How often do you take the time? Because everyone's got a story. Everyone's went through certain things and certain life circumstances. There is something that you can learn from those people. Do you take the time to get to know your fellow teammate and what they have went through? Because I guarantee you that they have something to provide you back in return. So I encourage you, we can't do it as much anymore, but we used to have the water coolers, right? The water cooler moments. and tend to be a lot about gossip and stuff. But what if the water cooler conversations was all about engaging the other person about struggles and life circumstances and experiences they've had and how they can help you, and you then pour back into them? What kind of team culture would you create if the dialogue was all about sharing and working together? Just think about that. It's pretty awesome what that would be like. Here's some closing questions that you should ask yourself. And I am guilty. I'm asking myself these exact same questions ever since I read them. And it's, what am I doing that is hurting my team? Am I complaining? Am I gossiping about them? What is it that I am doing that is hurting the entirety of the team, right? Number two is, what am I not doing that is hurting my team? Am I not pouring back in? Am I not taking my own life experiences and being willing to share? Am I not taking what I've learned here and then giving it to someone else? Am I not being the leader that and serving them and learning something here and then bringing it back to the team? And then the last one is this: what are the specific action steps I will take to be a better team moving forward? What is it that I'm going to do personally to move forward as a better teammate? It's a little bit of self-reflection. So we've got some good comments here. So Tina, she says, mutual respect, consideration, never leave one behind. Absolutely. That's good. Team player, humbleness. Is that humble? Yes, absolutely. That's great. Is that a word? Love that. Leading by serving. Yes. Awesome, guys. Awesome. All right. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. We are now going to start the show. So here we go. Welcome to the Advantage Live Show. My name is Adam Gullett. I'm the Director of Growth with Century 21 Advantage Realty in the beautiful state of Kentucky. And you are watching the live show that we do every single Fridays at 10:30 a.m. And if you're watching on the replay, please put hashtag Team Replay in the comments. And then be sure to come back 10:30 a.m. next Friday. So thank you, as always, for tuning in. I'm excited about this show. Today, we have Xio Sandoval with us. She is with Century 21 Realty Masters in South Los Angeles, California. And we're going to start off with our conversation with her and some of her accolades that she has accumulated already in the real estate industry and what she's into right now. So it's going to be an amazing conversation. So we're not going to waste any time getting to that conversation because it's a lot of value to give back to you guys. So we are going to jump straight into that right now. All right, so let me give you the introduction to Xio real quick before we bring her on. Xio Sandoval has been a leading Latina realtor since 2004, recently ranking number 23 in the Southern California region within the Century 21 organization. Individual producers by AGC, independently achieving Double Centurion in 2020 and 2019. Those in the Century 21 network know exactly what that means. It is one of the highest awards you can achieve inside of Century 21. She is also the #1 individual agent for Century 21 Realty Masters in AGC since 2015. She is among the nation's top 250 National Association of Hispanic Realtors and distinguished by the Montebello Board of Realtors since 2014 as the #1 agent in sales, total listings, and most escrows closed. Even more than that, she is also one of America's best real estate agents recognized by Real Trends. Passionately improving communities sets Xio apart from other agents, recently contributing as multimedia spokesperson for Century 21, promoting their partnership with the Eva Longoria Foundation's national program, Empowering Latinas, which provide scholarships to aspiring female real estate agents. Fiercely seeking personal growth, Xio strives to build close and long-term relationships with her clients and with professionals in her field of expertise, which has given her the ability to achieve record-breaking sales per square footage. Offering first-time buyers a blissful experience is the way she commits to making their reality come true. Acting as an intermediary in negotiations, she has experience with standard equity sellers, investors, high liability transactions, as well as commercial real estate negotiations. Born and based in Los Angeles with Salvadorian roots, mother, grandmother, and independent woman, Xio purpose and legacy is to continue delivering professional real estate support to consumers in all community levels, helping them understand that the American dream of owning real estate is within their reach and is always ready to seal the deal. I love that. And also, I'll add this. She just appeared in the National Geographic, the Home Rediscovered documentary that aired last week. So please join me in welcoming Xio to the show. Xio, thank you.
Hi, Adam. How are you? Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes, I'm so excited you're here. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on. It's amazing to have you.
I didn't realize that 10:30 Eastern time. I thought it was 10:30 my time. And last night we were at dinner. I was like, wait a minute, I have to be up by 6 so I can be ready by 7:30. I'm like, why did I agree to 10:30 his time?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's early where you are, which I will add, if you notice, she's kind of like in a hotel area. She's actually at the National Association of Hispanic Realtors, I guess, convention. That's where you're at, right?
Yes, here in San Diego, yes. And some of our Century 21 Familia corporate members are here as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. We're going to get into that just a little bit, so you can kind of share with everybody, what the association's about and what all they do. I think that'll be just a great conversation for those that might not know. Great awareness. So that's awesome. So again, thank you. So before we get into the whole conversation, I do this with everybody. It's just a quick little rapid fire, have a little fun, little icebreakers, whatever you want to call it, and just kind of give everybody a little bit of insight into who you are on some other fronts. So this one's an easy one. What app is on your phone could you not live without?
Spotify.
Spotify. Yeah, no, that's my go-to.
I'm a music girl.
All right, music girl. So what kind of music? What's your favorite?
Everything. I mean, salsa, reggae, hip hop, oldies. I love, like house techno, just everything. My music list is crazy. I'm from LA.
That's true. Yeah, you live in a music culture. There's all kinds of music. So you kind of got to be a lover of it all to live there, because you can embrace it all. So that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. All right, favorite person, real or fiction?
Oh, my granddaughters, real.
Oh,
2 people, yeah, my babies.
Oh, that's great. And what was their names?
Jenna, she's 6, and Elias 2.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, hopefully you'll show them the video and they can be proud of their grandma. So that's awesome. Well, thank you as always. Thank you for sharing that. Spotify is my go-to. And one more. Something interesting about yourself that others might not know.
Well, I'm allergic to anything spicy. And of course, I'm Latina from El Salvador, but I cannot have any spice whatsoever. I don't know if it's anxiety, like even talking about it right now gets me all.
Wow.
No spice, no chili, pepper, a little bit, but definitely no salsa. Just I'm allergic to spicy.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's the opposite of me. I love spice. Like I could I spice up. We had chicken noodle soup last night and I spiced it up.
You added that Tabasco.
Yeah. Yeah, I love a little kick. Well, that's good. I'd say people do not know that. That's great. All right, let's get into the meat of this conversation, Xio. You good with that?
Yes, thank you, Adam.
Absolutely. So kind of just give us a little bit of a glimpse into your life, like, where you grew up, family life, life moments, and kind of just walk us through that and what led you to where you are kind of now.
Got it. So I was born and raised in Los Angeles. So if anyone if I'm sure our viewers, have you seen Boys in the Hood, the movie? So that's the background. So just picture Boys in the Hood. That's where I grew up. I actually, my mom came to this country while she was pregnant with me. And at the age of 2, she actually sent me back to El Salvador to stay with her mom, with my grandmother, because she just at that time, my dad and her, they were working so much that they didn't have any family here. There was no help, so they couldn't sustain working and having me with them. So I left El Salvador when I was 2. I didn't get back to the States and to Los Angeles until I was 6 years old.
Oh,
So I
wow.
was born here, but I was raised in El Salvador. And I remember coming back, and you're in school, and I didn't know any English. I actually learned English as a second language.
Oh, wow. Wow. That
Yes,
is awesome.
yes, yes. But because of that, I believe this is why I'm 100% fluent, like in Spanish, and I thrive in that, because most of us, if we don't speak the language, we forget it.
Yeah.
But I'm 100% fluent. I read it, I talk it, I understand it, I negotiate it.
Well, yeah, to be honest, that is a great skill to have anyway. Bilingual is huge. The
Yeah.
opportunities that can open up is pretty significant. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So,
Yeah.
just born and raised there in Los Angeles, moved a lot. We didn't, I didn't go to like one high school. I ended up going to like 3 or 4 different high schools. But coincidentally, I graduated from Locke High School, which is in Watts, California, which is now the area that I specialize in. So I just feel like my life moments have trained me, gave me early training for my destiny, for where I was supposed to be, which is the real estate industry.
Oh man, I love that. Yeah. So that's good because you can, if I was to do that to myself, I can look back at just key moments in my life that ultimately led me to where I am. And you're right, it's the destiny. It's like there's just obvious indicators that said, "Yep, you're on the right trajectory." And of
Yeah.
course, I'm sure you can relate to this. This is me personally, but I have made a lot of derailments that took me away from that, but ultimately brought me back. So then I ended up in the field that I really I find passionate and love to
Uh,
death.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
So tell us, how did you get into the real estate industry? What ultimately led you into this career?
This is a great question and it's one of my favorite questions because it's going to bring everything together with Century 21. Um, we we were tenants, and one of our
Mm.
property managers actually was a Century 21 agent, and he used to pick up like clockwork our rent every month. And my mom, of course, would allow him in. He would sit down, and every time he would pick up the rent, he was wearing this gold jacket. And the gold jacket had this Century 21 sign with the for sale. Back then, they had like the houses with the for sale post engraved.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
yes, so every this was like a year. I was just like, man, this man, like, he's got so much power over us. Like every time he comes, like,
Mm.
my mom's like, would you like some coffee? That's how we are. Everybody comes into our house, we have to offer them coffee. So I would just ask him
I need to
questions
come
like,
over.
yes, I would just ask him. I'm like, hey, like, what I want to do what you do. Like, I want to collect people's money too. Like, what can I, like, how do I do what you do? And he's like, you want to sell houses? I said, yes, I want to wear that jacket that you're wearing. Like, it's so powerful. And he said, well, he said, you're gonna have to graduate from high school. I think I was like 16 or 17, graduate from high school, and then you're going to go to this school, called Anthony's. Here in Los Angeles, it was Anthony's School. That was the like go-to real estate company back then.
Okay.
And that moment, it changed my mind. It changed my life because, of course, I didn't do it right when I graduated because life happens. I got pregnant when I was 18, and it didn't happen. But I knew that I wanted to sell real estate. I knew that I wanted to be like the man that collected the rent. And when I was 24, finally, I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. Like, it's now or never. I got my license. I took my test 3 times. Finally, I passed. And at that time in my city, a Century 21 office had just opened. And I got hired. I was only there 6 months because I sold like the largest, our Montebello like city has like 2 large offices. So
Okay.
that one of those agents, I sold his listing, and he's like, Xio, he's like, you don't belong in this office. You need to come here with the big boys because you're so good. You're really good. I was like, oh no, I can't go over there because I don't have any training, So I interviewed with my broker manager now, and he said, I can't hire you. I said, why? I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, because you have a full-time job. He
Oh,
says, the
wow.
only way I'm going to hire you is if you go, if you quit your job, because I don't want you as a part-timer. You have to quit your job and you need to go full-time. I said, I can't, like, I don't have any other source of income. He said, please trust me. He's like, it's going to be okay. And back in 2003, I think he was making like $25,000. And he said, CEO, he's like, you're going to have to do this. I quit my job and I went full time. And that year I made $100,000.
Wow.
And it's never stopped. I was like, oh my God, like this is one that, but the power of the jacket, the power of being, like it's someone, this vision. I can still remember this man, and I knew, I was like, that's what I want to do. And that's what we talk about, that's part of the empowering Latinas, that we must, allow, there's a lot of kids that are going to graduate from high school that they might not be ready for college, but our industry is another career path for them.
Wow, I love that. What a great story. It's like you saw something that just immediately stood out to you about the landlord, and with the jacket, you realized the power of him, and it just put a little bit of a passion in you. Probably at that moment, that young age, that passion for real estate was planted. And obviously you went through some different things in life, like we all have, and then ultimately ended back in it. And then you the passion is what drove you, and then it sustained you. But then you came to a crossroad where you now had to make a choice. So then insert fear. So then you had to make a decision if your passion was going to be enough for real estate to be able to leave that security and go full time. I think that's a beautiful story. And I think a lot of agents needed to hear that, because there's a lot of agents out there that are probably really good agents, but they're nervous about making that jump. And, I would go back to the passion that you had for it. I mean, if you're passionate about something, no one's going to be able to tell you can't do it, right?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I've always, I live with this. I have no plan B. There's no plan B for me. It's either I if I don't jump, I'm gonna fall. So, I tell all the agents that come to me and they're like, CEO, what do you do here? What do you do? I'm like, just, you have to believe in yourself, bank on yourself. Like for me, I'm like my biggest fan. I'm like, I get in my own way, but I get out of my way quickly. I'm like, no, you have to, like, this is the time to pivot. You got to do this. I'm not a quitter, because what's the alternative? There's none. There's, we're self-employed. We have all the time available to us. So I tell, you talk to yourself. I'm like, see, if you're not doing busy, if you're not staying in motion, well, you can easily just stay home all day, listen to Spotify all day and chill, because we're self-employed.
That's true. Hey, you kind of nailed it. You nailed it.
So no, we have, I'm still hungry. I'm like, I want to break more records. I want more, like, I want to be the example for, the young agents, the older agents, the seasoned agents. And it doesn't matter. We're all agents. We're all, working agents in this tough business, because it's just crazy with so many changes that we have to go through.
Yeah, one of the most regulated industries you can be in. I mean, it's changing all the time, and then you factor in the economy and how much that fluctuates. And there's a lot of knowledge agents have to have. And you're right. I mean, you got to be able to navigate. And I love the word pivot. That was well said. So would you say so going back kind of now to Century 21 a little bit, because so he walked in with a gold jacket. Do you think that's the reason you're kind of now with Century 21, or is there other factors as well that kind of played into it? Because there's a lot of franchises, there's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of noise and things going on. So kind of walk me through that. Like, why did you ultimately choose, Century 21? And even though the gold jacket, which is great, I love the gold jacket. We got to bring it back, by the way. I've got,
we talked about that. We talked about that, and you're going to be part of that.
All right, I am. All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
I will wear it confidently. That's great. So is that kind of the story? Like, walk me through that.
Okay, so for me, and you know, this is gonna sound, because obviously we're Century 21 affiliated, but you know, Century 21, it's iconic. It's America. It's
Yeah.
familia. It's worldwide. You know, so personally for me, you know, I'm first generation Latina, first generation American here in the States. My mom's from El Salvador. My parents are from El Salvador. She knows Century 21. So as we were, you know, in Los Angeles, it used to be 20, 30 years ago, 40, 50 years ago,
Mm.
every yard sign had the yellow yard sign, which was
It's
Century
true.
21. You know,
Absolutely.
and in Spanish, it's El Century 21, El Century 21, which, you know, is Century 21. So I love my brand. I don't know, you know, and yes, we have so many options with, you know, these technology driven companies, but this is what I say. They're not sustainable.
Mm.
They're not here to stay. You know, Century 21 has tested the times, and they're still here.
Man, that's
And
well said.
it's only going to get better. When people say, "Oh, you guys are old," I'm an oldie but goodie.
That's right.
Trust me, come correct, oldie but goodie.
I love it. Hey, age, wisdom, right? It's wisdom.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
been there, done that. Like, yeah, you can say
yes,
old all you want, but I
yes,
agree. I
yes.
agree. It's a very strong brand. I think you that's perfect. It's a stable, proven franchise that has a very strong name. Even what you said about around the world. And I mean, yeah, it's hard to compete against that. And
And
that's, man,
And Adam, look at us right now.
yeah,
You're in Kentucky. I'm in Los Angeles. You're from the other side of the, you know, you're
yeah,
American. I'm Latina from El Salvador. But Century 21 has brought us together.
man,
And
so true.
and that's what it's about, that we have access to so many colleagues. You know, like I've met so many good colleagues in the conferences here at NAHREP, and truly everyone is so happy to see
Mhm.
each other, to meet each other. So for me, it's family, it's familia.
I love that. Yeah, well said. I definitely could not have said that any better. But yeah, you're right. It brought us together, and the network and the resources and all that. It's the benefit. It's just the byproduct of what they've built, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about your early real estate career a little bit. What are some of the things you did that set you up for where you are now, the Double Centurion? So, kind of when you first got into real estate, what are some things that you kind of led you to where you are? What does that look like?
I mirror the top agent in my city. I said, you know what? Whatever he's doing, I'm going to do more and more and more of that. Here in Los Angeles, not right now, but let's just say 15 years ago, you know, it never rains in LA. So like the weather permits, we can't take those breaks. You know, no rainy day offs, no snow days
And no
off,
snow. Yeah.
which sucks. But open houses are the thing to do here because
Oh.
it's nice out all day. So there was this agent, he's still around, that he used to have, I buy Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, by 7 o'clock in the morning, he probably had 100 signs out in the city of Los Angeles. Every corner,
Whoa.
he owned the streets. He owned the streets. So I said, you know what? I don't see that many female agents in South Los Angeles. It was mostly men.
Mm.
And you know, when you're an agent, you try to identify like what city, what specialists you want to do, and that's really good. But don't don't go try to establish yourself in an area where you know you have two or three agents that have been there established. Go to a new city. You
Mm.
know, drive a little bit, because where my office is at in South LA, it's still a 30-minute drive, but I knew that, I just felt it in my bones that I'm like, I know LA. I went to Watts High School. I can do this. So I copied his model. I ordered open house signs, and 5, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, I would put up my signs. 30, 40 signs, 50 signs myself. Not like
Wow.
an assistant, no, like myself with my sneakers. And I did that maybe a good 5, 6 years, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And back then, 2004, 2005, 2006, the technology we have now is not what we had then. So
Yeah.
I would sit at open houses all day. But you know what? I remember one year that people started telling me, random people, "You're CEO? I see your signs. I saw your signs." So it's branding. And the branding. I didn't have to spend so much money, marketing money, to send postcards. I hit the streets. I would
Oh
say, you
yeah.
know what? We're gonna wake up in the
Yeah.
morning and we're gonna light up the streets. The streets is our Christmas tree. I want all those cars to stop by and to remember Xio Sandoval, and it worked.
Wow. To be honest, as humans, we tend to overcomplicate everything. And now more than ever, because of all the technology we do have and all of the Googling we can do, and we read all these new ideas and YouTube videos and all this kind of stuff, you just kind of nailed it. It's the simple things that get the best results, but do require a lot more effort and work. But they are probably they are way more profitable in the long term. So that work you did there, you're right. You did all the branding up front, getting your name out there. So then your name was what did it. They now know who you are. They begin to recognize you and call you, and you build a referral business probably right from that. So it's
Correct. Yeah.
great.
And not only was it just the public, but then you started the open houses, the walk-ins, the sellers, and then the agents. The agents are our customers too, and they would say, "Oh, there she goes again with the signs." So that agent and I feel like we established the trend of like, for whoever gets there first to put up these signs was going to get the best open house at the time.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
And
Open houses tend to, not be the biggest thing here, but door knocking and those type of things still are. There's a lot of agents that have built their career from just going and canvassing subdivisions, and the tactics and what you're doing are similar. It's just getting out there and hustling and doing the work. The type might change, but the processes are the same. So,
And you said something that I believe in. Uh, People forget that work is still required. Technology
yeah,
is not going to do our job. Technology is not going to, it can close the deal, but it's not going to do the job. It's not going to personalize that transaction with your client. Your
yeah,
client still needs you.
they do.
Everyone's like, what's going to happen with Zillow and the online? Who cares? They don't have a heart. They don't have a pulse.
Yeah.
My clients want me. They want to know that I'm there. They don't want to talk to some automated person.
So true. Well, and that's it too, is like our value should never be put into the technology that we bring to the table. Our value is what you just said. It's the relationship with the person, the heart, the emotions, the connections. Like if you do that well, and that's where you realize that's where your value comes from, then you're going to build the business you've built. I mean, it's just the byproduct of understanding and loving people. It's the byproduct of that. So I think
Yes,
that's, yeah, well said. But you have to work. You do have to work.
you have to work.
So let's switch gears just a little bit now. Let's jump into the talking about the National Association of Hispanic Realtors and the association and all that, which is where you're currently at. So for those that don't know, could you provide some details kind of about what this organization is and this association is about and those type of things and what's going on?
Yeah, so the National Association Hispanic of Realtors, it's the organization for all Latino real estate agents or any Latino in the industry. So you have this is like our go-to conference, kind of like our 121 or like the National Association of Realtors, the NAR. So this organization represents the Latinos in the industry.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's,
and this is the first time since COVID that we're here together again, and they've done an amazing job. It just feels right. It feels like we're home again.
yeah, I would say it does. So has it been a good conference so far?
It's been amazing. And I'm going to tell you something. Century 21 is representing heavy, heavy. I think there's more Century 21 agents here than any other brand.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes, yes.
Hey, all right.
We're owning it.
I love that. That's
Yes,
great. That is good. So,
yes.
so cool. So you've got a few accomplishments inside of that association too, don't you? And did you get it? Did you get nominated again or award or something? I saw something on Instagram, I believe.
I did. Yeah, it's one of my favorite awards because it's it just it comes from, this Gary Acosta, which is the founder. I mean, he's an industry leader. He's a giant. He's amazing. And I just feel like this award represents me, because I'm Latina and I love my culture. So I've been ranked since 2014, and I remember the first time I made the list, I was like, "Oh my God, I did it! I did it!" Because you recognize so many of the top agents. And I was like, there was a lot of males back then in 2014, 2015. Now I believe there's more female winners in the top 250 than the men.
Wow. That's great.
Yes, yes.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So, and also to kind of piggyback off of that recognition and some of your accolades there, which is just awesome. Let's talk about the Eva Longoria program. So you were basically chosen, I guess, by Century 21 to be the representative for promoting that initiative.
For the Los Angeles market, yeah. So I think once a year they choose a market, and in 2019 the market was Los Angeles, and they asked me to be their ambassador. And my story is real. I'm from South LA. I went to Locke High School, which it's in Watts. We used to have metal detectors back then to get into school.
Wow.
And so what we want to do, what Century 21 wants to do with Eva Longoria's foundation, is we want to show these young ladies that after high school, that there are options. You don't have to just go straight to work. We want to mentor them and guide them to take the real estate courses and get them to the finish line to get licensed. And once they're licensed, place them in an office where they're going to be a good fit. It doesn't mean it's going to be my office. It does not mean it's going to be CEO's assistant. We want to change these ladies' lives, because that's what happened to me. Without that man, I don't know if I would have gone into real estate. I don't know.
Yeah.
So a lot of here in Los Angeles, by the time you're 18, you don't have that many options. You're either going to get a job or you're going to go to school. But they think about it. You can be licensed by the time you're 19. And if you do things right and you follow the course, the amount of income you can make is limitless. It's really up to you. Besides that, money's not everything, but it will change that family's generational wealth, because obviously that young lady is going to eventually buy a house. And then after the house, they're going to buy an income property. And most of us like me, we're first generation. We didn't come from like families that have 2 or 3 houses here in the States.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to do.
I just love that, because you're going in and you're showing them there's an opportunity here for you outside of what maybe the mainstream would assume. Hey, you go to high school, you graduate, you go to college, and you get a good job. And to be honest, that doesn't really hold up that much for a lot of people. So going in there and talking to them about other opportunities, I mean, you're right. That one change in that one person's life is a generational change going forward. And that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And we're not saying like, don't go to college. No, whatever you want to do, education is very important. If I didn't take the time and put in the work to train myself to become the best agent I could be, it just didn't happen. But there are options. You don't just have to, like this is a good career. And I feel like it's such a good career for everybody, not just Latinos. I mean, everybody. I
Yes.
met a young man yesterday. I believe he's from Kentucky,
Oh,
Luis
really?
Mendoza. What's the other office there? Richmond, Century 21 Simpson, I want to say.
Oh, Simpson. Yeah, Simpson and Associates. Yeah, they're in
Are they
Frankfurt. Uh-huh.
Frankfurt?
Frankfurt.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I guess there's an emerging Latino market there right now, or it's going to happen. And he's the only Latino agent in his office, and he's 24 years old.
Oh,
And
wow.
yes, Adam,
I'll
and
have to reach out and meet him. So that's
you must
yes.
connect. And his broker is here with him, supporting him. So I'm going to keep it real. You have this Latino young kid, and then you have this white older gentleman together. But it is so amazing.
That is awesome. I
And,
love
and
it.
and he's like, what do I do? I said, you know what? You be yourself, and you're gonna stand. You're already standing out. I said, you're 24. I was 24 when I started. You follow everything your manager tells you to do. He tells you to do that, you do it twice, three, four times, and with a smile.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And with a smile.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I just love the cause. I love the mission. I love what you're doing. To me, that's another benefit of being a realtor too. You factor in the flexibility of time. You kind of mentioned that earlier, but then gives us the ability to do is serve the communities that we're in and organizations that we want to be a part of. And I've seen this everywhere. Realtors tend to be leaders in their communities. They tend to do things that you're doing there with that program and these associations and these organizations. We give of our time, our money, our resources to help others. And I just love that about this industry. And it's one of the best industries, in my opinion, that you can be a part of. Yeah, we were talking about this with another person yesterday over lunch, and we were talking about just how, we're all competitors, but in the end, we can come together and accomplish some amazing things, even as individuals. And it's just a beautiful thing.
Well, like what you said earlier, together is better, stronger is better. It just, unity. We need to support each other.
Yes. Yes, we do. We absolutely do. Yeah, focus more on what unites us than divides us. Like
Yes.
that should be the focus. And
Yeah.
it's conversations like this and talking about it and having these discussions that will help do that. And we want unity. I love unity. More can happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we had dinner last night with friends or with our colleagues, and we got into different life topics, and one of my friends said what you just said. It's okay. This is a safe space. We must converse. It's okay to talk. It's okay to disagree, as long as we all understand that it's a safe space to do that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you for giving back as well, because your show is amazing. Thank you.
Well, hey, no, yeah, my pleasure. I truly do enjoy it. I get to meet amazing people. So it's fun. So let's talk about the National Geographic documentary, because that just aired last Thursday. Was it last Thursday? I think it was, or
Yes,
Wednesday. So that was an
Thursday. Yeah.
awesome documentary, Home Rediscovered. Century 21 agents were featured throughout. And I mean, it was just an amazing thing to watch. It was like a whole hour long. So awesome. I mean, it was really cool. It talked about the pandemic and stuff like that and what happened. So share a little bit about your experience and kind of what that documentary was about and what it meant to you.
I'm still taking everything in. Like it was so beautifully, filmed, and it was not scripted. All the stories are real. All the families are real. We didn't get paid for anything. They asked us to participate. I believe that the reason why I was chosen is because during COVID in Los Angeles, just everywhere, everything stopped. Everything stopped. The open houses stopped. So,
Yeah.
so at that time, I was like, my builder I work with the builder, and he builds he converts garages into accessory dwelling units.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah. So you take, these garages, you convert them into units. And at that time, I received an increase of interest from families that were going to come together, multi-generational families, and said, we need to stay together. We need to live together. Or you would have, mom and pop in their 80s that said, we're going to sell mom's house and they're going to move in with us. So that was my personal experience where my multi-units, my 2 on the lots, I sold out. He could not build them fast enough. Keep
Wow.
in mind, everything closed. So that means the building and safety departments were closed. And we had a waiting list. And most of our clientele, it was for them to live together. They wanted to keep the family near, like, even for myself, my granddaughters at that time were living with me. And I remember when, they had some issues and she moved out, it freaked me out because I was like, oh my God, my babies are not going to be close to me. Like, what's going to happen if, it was so scary in July, August of 2020. No one knew what was happening or what was going to happen.
Yeah. A lot
Yeah.
of adjusting, a lot of changes.
So that was my personal experience with COVID. And that's the reason they brought me in with the documentary.
Wow.
And as you can see, other agents had different situations, like Caitlin, true story. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and I think, again, goes just back to, well, I mean, we've touched on a lot of points here, but when you talk about, technology companies coming into the industry and going back to what the heart was, they can't pivot, they can't emotion, they can't do the heart touches that you all did and what you displayed in that documentary and the lives that helped and the ability to pivot and observe the market and what's going on and then make decisions, kind of what you just talked about, converting garages into residential living spaces and making these pivots and changes that you need to make. If it wasn't for a realtor base in the pandemic, it would have been completely different. So
we are essential. We were essential. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of my business doubled that last year, doubled. And, there were some agents that for personal reasons just did not want to leave their homes, and that's okay. For me, I'm like, no plan B. You want me there? It's okay. I'll be there. The disinfectant, my gloves, my shoe covers.
That's right.
You have to sign these PED forms. I mean, let's talk about the PEDs, right? The Corona access forms.
Absolutely. You got to keep working, and they needed it. People need it.
The families, the clients, they wanted that.
Yeah.
They didn't want to go on. They didn't want to do a FaceTime or an online. At least in my business, in my area, they were just so grateful for me to show them houses. My sellers as well. My sellers are like, what would you like us to do so the buyers can feel comfortable walking into my home? So it truly, we were essential. We are essential, and it changed I think it changed everything about a home. It's not ever going to be the same. And not the most important thing is that home is where the heart is. It's where you sleep. It's needed.
It is needed.
Now more than ever, it's needed.
Yeah. And to be honest, the pandemic brought it back to a true home. A lot of people were so busy, so disconnected from each other that, I mean, it brought people back home. And then the home was redefined or rediscovered because now we're using these homes in a completely different way. I mean, I'm sitting in my home now in a studio that would not have existed, my office now, because of COVID. And so it's brought us together. I mean, this would never have happened.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool things that are coming out of this. And I found that documentary to be very enjoyable because it showcased those changes and it put the realtor right front and center and said, look, we have a heart and we are essential. And I love that. It's almost like you want to do a marketing campaign like the essential realtor or realtors. They're essential or, something because that'd be awesome.
You should start that.
Yeah, there we go. The essential realtor.
Yeah. In Spanish, it's la esencia.
Esencia?
La esencia.
La esencia. I like that.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to get into a question I've got to ask in Spanish. So here in just a second. But before we do that, because I know I'm going to butcher it. So before we do that, before I make everybody just log off and leave, I got one more for you. So what advice would you give to agents that are watching, that are looking to build a successful career in real estate, and what should they focus on and what should they probably stop doing? Like what kind of advice would you give them?
Okay. So what they should stop doing, I'm going to start with that, okay, is stop scrolling. Stop
Oh,
scrolling. Stop pretend and I mean this with the utmost, genuine respect. But this is how I operate. I keep it very authentic. And sometimes we make ourselves to be busier than what we are. So stop doing that, because the online platforms, they're not going to bring you that sustainable business. Um, like I told the young kid yesterday, just you have to work. Like you have to be so hungry to make these deals, to get those listings, to get the buyers to stay with you, that it's almost like 24/7.
yeah.
And not 24/7 because you're just going to not rest, but 24/7 here. Like for me, like this is it. Like I will be 80 years old. I'm still going to be selling and listing at a high level, like our Marty Rodriguez, like because I love it. This is my
That's
job.
right.
Like, and you have to love what you do. Like you love your show. You're natural. The camera loves you.
I appreciate that.
The camera and the mic loves you. So it's like bring that passion to the
Yes.
table. Love
Yes.
love yourself first and believe, I am the best agent. I'm the best agent. And you start repeating that to yourself. And then when you're at those appointments, it's gonna come out. And then I'm like, are you ready to sign? Like I'm not gonna leave here without that signature.
If everybody's watching, you saw what she just did there. She
Yeah.
did an objective handling with this big smile on her
Yeah.
face. That's
My
awesome.
clients can't say no. I'm like, what? Are you sure? Like, what did that agent promise you? I said, no, 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 no.
No.
I'm like, he wants to do it for 3%. I'm like, oh my God, he's not going to even negotiate for you.
Oh, I love it. Oh, it's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got to have you back and have you like go through some of your objection handlings, because like you do it with this big smile and it's almost like I feel like an idiot for even suggesting it. It's good. It's really
Yeah.
good.
So, and sometimes as agents, we want to do it we want to do everything by ourselves. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to maybe partner up with an agent that is busy at the time and
Yeah.
you're not busy, but you can assist with those clients as long as you have an open conversation about what that means financially and how you're each going to get compensated. I attended one of the sessions yesterday with Brian Ellington, and it was on team building. I don't have a team right now, and I learned that I'm just a little small fish right now. Michelle Furman was part of she's
Hmm.
powerhouse.
Yeah.
She was part of that
Big time.
panel, and I learned I learned that I must scale, and I must scale right now. So in
Hmm.
5 years, because everything we do right now, we're not going to see the results immediately. It's going to take 2 or 3 years. And I must be able to
Yeah.
and let
Yes.
go. And so now I'm going to go back with myself. I'm going to say, you know what? I need the help. I don't need to do everything by myself. It's okay. It's time to share now.
Yes. I love that. Well said. That's beautiful. Being willing to learn too. And even though you've had great success, you've got all these awards and stuff, your approach to even what you just said, you're still learning and you still consider yourself a small fish in a big pond. You know, you're an amazing agent serving amazing people, but yet you're still learning. And that is a beautiful thing, because I'm right there with you. I'm forever the student. Forever the
E-
student.
Every day we're learning. And if
Yes.
we don't, that's where it stops.
Yeah.
That's where it stops, and it's better to be the student than the teacher, because the
It
teacher
really
always
is.
has to be on their toes.
That- That's absolutely true. Oh, thank you so much. All right, so here we go. I was asked by you to ask one question in Spanish.
Yes.
So, for all those watching, I am sorry that I am going to mess this beautiful language up, but I'm going to attempt to do this. Okay. So here we go. ¿Qué es lo que más te gusta de tu trabajo? How bad was that?
Oh my God, Adam. I think it's so good. We're gonna, you know what? I'm gonna be your Spanish coach.
I'm all in because I probably said things I probably should not have said, and like the Google translators that will play on this video, it's going to be like, what? So I'm going to go back and see what those say.
Yeah. Okay, so the question is, ¿qué me gusta más de mi trabajo?
Yeah.
¿Qué me gusta más de mi trabajo? What do I like most? What do I like best of my job? Right?
Yes, that's it.
Yes. This, the connections, the results. It just, the results on seeing, my clients, happiness when they're signing, the closing documents, when we're turning over the keys, when we know that, a seller, when that buyer has removed all contingencies, I'm like, okay, it's done now. We can breathe now. We're going to get to the closing table. Seeing someone like this young man yesterday, Luis, so excited and nervous and it's everything. This I think for me, my job, it's people say like, oh, Xio, you work too much. You have to find, your balance. I was like, but this is my balance because I love what I do. So I'm like, I don't think about it that way. I never categorize myself. I just, I'm a real estate agent. I love what I do. I still get that same feeling I got the first time I closed, that one escrow, in my boss, JJ, he's like, you're so funny. He's like, you're always he's like, every time you get your check, you're like a little girl. I said, yeah, it's my check. That's my money.
I love it.
So I think just, it's the connections, the realness about it. It's real. This is not like, it's not like a scripted, show. It's not I'm not like online. It's not, there's no virtual assistant. Like, this is us here.
Yeah. No. Oh yeah. Well said. It's so true. Well said. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a true pleasure. But before I let you go, though, I want to give you a couple little things here, some comments.
Okay.
Let's see. Yep. Tina says, I need a gold jacket.
Yes, Tina!
Then Emily, I think we should start wearing gold jackets again. Absolutely.
So Mr. Mike Meadler was here yesterday, and everybody wants the gold jacket. So I think we should make that happen.
Well, I'm all in. Yeah. Yes. I would wear it. I'll be wearing it right now.
Yes.
So Steve Robinson, he is the principal broker owner of Central 21 Advantage Realty. He said, awesome show. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Most excellent.
Oh, gracias. Thank you.
Gary, love this. Great show, Xio and Adam. Thank you, Gary. Xio, any final thoughts? Anything you'd like to say that we didn't cover?
I just want to say to everyone out there, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you for staying true to the cause. Thank you for continuing to put in the work, because believe me, it's not easy. It's a lot of work doing what we do. We're self-employed, no matter what. Yeah. Remember that. We're self-employed, and it takes a special individual to wake up knowing that you're at zero. I start zero every day. And, and truly, and for all you women out there, we can do it better. Sorry, Adam, but this is like two women.
That's right. I'm good.
To all the ladies, we are the rock stars.
There you go. I love it. Xio, thank you so much for coming on the show. I want to have you back because I would like to talk a little bit more kind of along the lines of, it was in a podcast interview that you had. I think it was, what was it? Girl Fund? Girl Fund. And it was an awesome interview. And you were talking about some of the decisions that you made when you first got into real estate in regards to choices that you made with your money. Yeah. And I thought it was really, really good. So I'll invite you back to the show and maybe we'll go into a little bit more detail about that. I think there's some value there.
You got it. Anytime. And in the meantime, we're going to start making those enunciation classes. Okay.
Yeah. Please. I need all the help I can get.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. We'll be in
Thank
touch.
you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Awesome. She is just such a sweet, sweet person. You can see her heart. She loves people and she absolutely loves her job. She has a passion for it. And I just love the word destiny. You know, she basically just has said, this is my destiny. This is where I belong. And I think that's great. A lot of great points, guys. Go back and watch this. Take some stuff out of it. Reach out to her. I mean, she's an open book. I mean, she's really all about serving and helping others. So, yeah, Steve, I still wear my gold jacket. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Yeah, I'm all about bringing those back. I got to be honest. I mean, let's do it. I mean, it's something that sets us apart. And as you can see, it had an impact on her when she was growing up. So, hey, it works. I like it. All right, guys. Well, it's been a great show. Do we have anything in the comments? Looks like Emily had said something about where she likes to go. Oh, yeah. My home away from home, Fort Myers. Yes. Yes. And Palm Springs. Absolutely. Awesome, guys. Hey, I really do appreciate all of you guys for tuning in and watching this show. Hopefully you found some value in it. And if you did, and it's your first time here, please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting on this video. So we'll keep coming back with more. Next week, I'm going to be talking about Brilliant Basics. I consciously communicate. So be sure to tune in 10:30 a.m. next Friday. You'll be notified of that when it comes time for the show. So in the meantime, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. Be fearless, keep pushing forward, and never stop being relentless in your pursuit of excellence. I will see you guys next Friday. Have an amazing weekend. Take care.